Writing player feedback is one of those jobs that never seems to end. You've got 16 players in your squad, maybe more, and each one of them needs individual comments at some point. End of season reports, mid-season reviews, feedback for parents who ask how their child is doing, notes for player development meetings, references for trials or academy applications. After you've written feedback for the first 5 or 6 players, everything starts to sound the same. Good effort this season, works hard in training, needs to improve their first touch. That's not useful feedback. That could apply to almost anyone. It doesn't tell the player anything specific about what they're doing well and what they should work on. It doesn't show the parents that you've actually been watching their child. But here's the reality. Who has time to write something genuinely personalised and thoughtful for every single player? It's tough, especially when you're already planning sessions, running training, managing match days, and dealing with parents. And also, you're doing all of this around a full-time job and family. AI does have the time. AI has that time, and it can help you turn quick observations into polished professional feedback in minutes. In this video, I'm going to show you how exactly I write individual player feedback using AI. Feedback that is specific, encouraging, and actually useful. Not generic template stuff that could apply to anyone, but real personalized feedback based on what you've actually observed. And there's a free template pack in the AI Football School with prompts for every position and every single situation you might encounter. The link to AI Football School is in the description below.
Let me start with why this matters so much. Good feedback does 3 specific things. First, it tells the player what they're doing well. This is crucial because players need to know what to keep doing. If you just focus on what they need to improve, they don't know what's working. Good feedback reinforces the positive behaviors you want to see more of. Third, it gives them something specific to work on, not vague stuff like improve your passing, something concrete like work on your weight of pass over longer distances or focus on checking your shoulder before receiving. Third, and this is the one most coaches miss, it shows you've actually been watching them. Parents can tell the difference between generic feedback and feedback that's clearly about their specific child. Players can tell too. When feedback includes specific moments or specific observations, it builds trust. It shows you care. Bad feedback does none of that. It's generic. It could apply to anyone on the team. It's the kind of feedback that makes parents think you just copied and pasted the same thing for everyone. And honestly, when feedback feels generic, trust breaks down. Parents start to wonder if you're really paying attention to their child. Players feel like they're just another number. But here's the problem every coach faces. Writing genuinely personal, thoughtful feedback for every player takes forever. By the time you get to player number 12, you're running out of words. You're running out of energy. You're repeating yourself. The quality drops off. I've been there, sitting at my laptop at 10 p.m., trying to write the last few reports, knowing they're not as good as the first ones I wrote, but just wanting to get it done. AI solves this problem, not by replacing your observations, but by helping you articulate them clearly and quickly. You still do the watching, you still make the observations. AI helps you turn those observations into well-written, structured feedback. Let me show you the method I use. There are 5 steps. Step 1, capture your observations. Before you touch AI, you need raw observations. What have you actually noticed about this player? This is your job. AI hasn't watched your players. AI doesn't know who scored that goal in training last Tuesday or who's been struggling with confidence after being dropped. You need to provide the raw material. I keep simple notes throughout the season, nothing fancy, just bullet points during or after sessions. I use the Notes app on my phone, or sometimes I just jot things in a small notebook I keep in my coaching bag. For example, Jamie, great work rate in the press, first touch rushed when receiving under pressure, confidence growing. Or Sophie, positioning in defense much improved, still hesitant to play forward passes, loves training, popular with teammates. Ryan, technically excellent, struggles with intensity in matches versus training, quiet leader when engaged. You don't need essays, just the key things you've observed over time. 2 or 3 bullet points per player is enough to work with. The important thing is to capture these observations as they happen, not try to remember them all at the end of the season. A quick note after training takes 30 seconds. Trying to remember 6 months of observations takes hours and you'll miss things. Step 2. Structure your prompt. Now you bring in AI. Here's the basic prompt structure I use. Write feedback for a player, then include their age, their position, and the level they play at. Then list the strengths you've observed, 2 or 3 specific things. Then list the areas to develop, usually 1 or 2 things. Then specify the tone and length. Make it encouraging and specific, 2 to 3 paragraphs maximum. Let me give you a real example. Write feedback for a 13-year-old central midfielder playing at grassroots level. Strengths I've observed. Excellent work rate, consistently the hardest working player in training. Good at breaking up opposition attacks and reading the game. Improving at finding simple forward passes. Areas to develop. First touch under pressure, sometimes takes too many touches when a simpler option is on. Make it encouraging and specific. 2 to 3 paragraphs. This is for an end of season report that parents will read. That gives AI everything it needs to write something useful. Step 3. Add context about the purpose. The more context you give, the better the output. Different situations need different tones and different content. For an end of season report, you might add, "This is a formal report that parents will keep. Focus on development over the season and give one clear thing to work on over the summer." For verbal feedback after training, you might add, "This is feedback I'll give face to face in about 30 seconds. Keep it brief and encouraging, with one specific positive and one thing to focus on next session." For a player lacking confidence, you might add, "This player has had a tough few weeks and their confidence is low." Keep the tone very encouraging. Emphasize progress rather than what's still missing. For a trial reference, you might add, "This is a reference for an academy trial." Professional tone, highlight their standout qualities and potential. Be honest, but frame development areas positively. This context shapes the output significantly. A verbal feedback snippet looks completely different from a formal written report. Step 4. Review and adjust. Read what the AI generates. Does it sound like you? Does it capture what you actually observed? Is the tone right? If not, refine it. This is a conversation with AI, not a one-shot request. You might say, "Make it shorter. I want this under 100 words." Or make it less formal. "This needs to sound like me talking, not a school report." Or emphasize the improvement they've made since September. "I want the parents to see the progress." Or add something about their attitude and how they are in the group. "They're a great teammate and I want to highlight that." Or "The development area sounds too negative." Reframe it as an opportunity rather than a weakness. Keep refining until it feels right. Usually 2 or 3 adjustments gets you there. Step 5. Add your personal touch. This is crucial. Before you send anything, add one thing that's unmistakably personal. Something only you would know. Something that shows you were actually there, actually watching. For example, that goal you scored against Riverside, the way you stayed calm and picked your spot when you could have panicked, that's exactly the growth I'm talking about. Or, "I've noticed how you've started encouraging the younger players in training. That leadership makes a difference to the whole group." Or, "Remember that save you made in the cup match? Your positioning has come so far since September. That's the result of your hard work." That one specific line proves you were watching. AI gave you the structure and the professional language. You added the humanity and the personal connection. Let me show you this in action. With a real example, I'll walk through my screen so you can see exactly what this looks like. I'm going to write feedback for a U14 centre back. Here are my observations from the season. Strengths: reads the game really well, often in the right position before the ball arrives. Good in the air, wins most headers. Vocal and organizes the defense. Development area: rushes distribution under pressure, tends to just clear it when there's time to play out. The purpose: end of season report for parents. I'll type the prompt. Write feedback for a 14-year-old centre back at grassroots level. Strengths I've observed: excellent at reading the game, consistently in good positions, strong in the air, dominant in aerial duels, vocal leader who organizes the defense well, area to develop, distribution under pressure, tendency to clear the ball when there's time to play out. This is for an end of season report. Make it encouraging, highlight progress, give one specific area to work on. 2 to 3 paragraphs. Now I hit enter and let it generate. Look at what it gives me. It's opened with a positive statement about the player's impact on the team. It's mentioned their reading of the game and how this sets them apart. It's talked about their aerial ability and leadership. Then it's transitioned to the development area, framing it positively as the next step rather than a weakness. And it's ended with an encouraging statement about potential. That's solid. But I want to tweak a few things. I'll say, make the opening more personal. Start with something like, it's been a pleasure coaching this player this season, rather than a generic statement. The AI adjusts it. I'll say, the bit about development sounds too much like criticism. Reframe it as something they're ready to add to their game. The AI adjusts it again. Now I'll add my personal touch. I'll insert a line about a specific moment from the season that only I would know about. Done. That took less than 3 minutes, and I have professional, personalized feedback that shows I've been watching, I understand this player, and I care about their development. Let me show you how this method works for different scenarios, because you'll use this for more than just end of season reports. For weekly check ins after training, you can use a simpler prompt. Write brief feedback I can give verbally to a U12 striker after training. They worked hard today, but were snatching at shots. Keep it to 30 seconds, encouraging with one positive and one thing to focus on next time. For scholarship or trial applications, write a reference for a U15 midfielder applying for an academy trial. Professional tone, key observations. Technically gifted, excellent vision, can play under pressure. Areas developing, physical presence and challenges, consistency across 90 minutes, highlight potential and coachability. For difficult conversations about behaviour, help me explain to a U13 player why they're not starting this week. The issue is their attitude in training has dropped off. They've been arriving late and not putting in effort. I need to be honest but constructive. Give them a clear path back into the team. For end of block summaries for the whole squad, write brief feedback for each position group that I can share with parents after our 6 week attacking block. What we worked on, what's improved, what comes next. Keep each section to 3 to 4 sentences. All of these situations come up regularly in coaching, and AI can help with all of them. Now, let me talk about the 3 mistakes I see coaches make with this. Mistake number 1, no observations to start with. I cannot observe your players. It's not at training, it doesn't see the matches. If you don't have observations to feed in, you'll get generic output that could apply to anyone. The solution is to keep notes, even simple bullet points captured throughout the season. When you sit down to write feedback, you need raw material to work with. If you're starting from nothing, you can still use AI, but you'll need to be more general. And honestly, the feedback will be less impactful. Mistake number 2, prompts that are too generic. Write feedback for a midfielder gives AI almost nothing to work with. You'll get something that could apply to any midfielder at any level in any context. Always include age, position, level, specific observations you've made, and what the feedback is for. The more specific your input, the more specific the output. Mistake number 3, using the AI output as is without adding anything personal. Even the best AI generated feedback still needs your personal touch. Parents and players can tell when something is genuine versus when it's generated. Adding one specific moment, one personal observation makes all the difference. Always add something that proves you were watching. It takes 30 seconds and transforms generic feedback into something meaningful. Let me also address a question I get asked a lot. Is it ethical to use AI for player feedback? Here's my view. AI is a tool that helps you articulate your thoughts. The observations are still yours. The watching happened. The caring is real. AI just helps you express it clearly and efficiently. If you have 16 players and only time to write thoughtful feedback for 8 of them, AI means all 16 get quality feedback. That's better for the players, better for the parents, and better for you. What would be unethical is generating feedback for players you haven't watched or using AI to pretend you've observed things you haven't. That's not what we're doing here. We're using AI to communicate our real observations more effectively. One more thing before we finish, let me show you how to batch this for efficiency. When I need to write end of season reports for the whole squad, I don't do them one at a time. I batch them. First, I spend 20 minutes reviewing my notes and writing out bullet points for every player, just the key observations. Then I create a base prompt that I'll use for everyone with the standard format and requirements. Then I work through the squad position by position, adapting the prompt for each player with their specific observations. Each report takes about 2 to 3 minutes with AI help. For a squad of 16, that's under an hour for the whole lot. Compare that to the 4 to 5 hours it used to take me writing everything from scratch. That's how I use AI for player feedback. To recap the method, capture observations throughout the season. Structure your prompt with age, position, level, observations, and purpose. Add context about tone and situation. Review and refine until it sounds right. Add a personal touch that proves you were watching. Now, I've put together a player feedback template pack with ready to use prompts for every position, end of season reports, parent communications, verbal feedback, trial references, and difficult conversations. And as a bonus, I'll link to my Coach Reflections tool, which allows you to capture reflections either via voice notes, session plans that have been digitally created or written, or lastly, just type notes that you can then add after your session. It's completely free inside AI Football School. Link in the description. Join the community, head to the Prompts and Resources classroom, and download the pack. If this was useful, hit subscribe. I'm posting weekly on AI for football coaches. And if you've got questions about using AI for player feedback, drop them in the comments. I'll answer every one.